Wow! Nick, what's that in your hand?
It's me cock.
No, your other hand.
Oh, mate, this is the new Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Tell you what, mate, meaner, sharper, tighter, closer than ever. Look at that, eh? Woohoo! Look at the shine on that bad boy. What do you think of that? Yeah, touch it. Touch that.
I'm not touching your cock.
Just touch it. Look how shiny my balls are.
Wow, it is smooth, isn't it? Ooh, yeah, that's good. For the new Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, head to manscaped.com and use this code for a 20% discount. Fight20 at the checkout. Can I touch it again?
Oh, yeah, please.
This is Fight Disciples.
Welcome to podcast number 522. We are the Fight Disciples, and this one is dedicated to the world of MMA. If it's the first time you've ever come across us, please subscribe to us on iTunes. You can do that very simply. It's one button, hit it, come and join us, and write us a 5-star review. It helps with our visibility in the iTunes charts. FightDisciples.com is our website. Get yourself on that if you need an Android feed, and we're all over social media as well, including YouTube, where there are interviews galore going up with various fighters. One is already up there, I think, that he's fighting this weekend. The heavyweight prospect, if we can call him that. Tom Aspinall talking about how he has his fish and chips. That's the type of Fight Disciples interview that you're looking for, isn't it? Get yourself stuck into that. It's up on our YouTube channel ahead of his big fight this weekend. And there's going to be a big preview, of course, because my man here, right, he's gone out on a limb, hasn't he? He's gone big. Nick, you know what, Nick? Nick's back, right? And he's brought with him a little bag of outlandish sayings. He's turned the volume up by 10. I was watching something this morning and I totally forgot that we made this programme together for BT, and he's gone out there and he says, this is the greatest card with British fighters on of all time. That's how big this weekend is. So we're going to go and get stuck into that very, very shortly, all right? How were your holiday anyway, big boy?
It was good, mate, yeah. Good, really good. And nice to be... I'd say nice to be back, but you know yourself, it's a little touch of paradise out there on the east coast of Ibiza. So it's hard to say it's good to be back, but it's good to be back in time for a fucking wicked weekend of fight sports. Obviously, we waxed lyrical about the Josh Warrington card in Leeds. That's going to be unbelievable, and I'm excited about this weekend. I'm excited for various reasons because, as you say, you know, this is one of the best UK-centric UFC cards we've ever seen. It would have been the best. I'm going to stand by my original statement. Had it been in London, had likes of Jacasey not fallen off, Paul Craig not falling off, Lerone Murphy not falling off, had they all stayed on, had the card with the 6 Brits who are over there now stayed on as well, I think it would have been the best UK-centric UFC card we've ever seen. So I will stand by that crazy statement.
No,
I just think it's slightly diluted in terms of UK-centric, but fuck me.
Mate.
Every fight is a real fight. Every fight's a real fight.
It's not a crazy statement because, let's be straight, we are living through a golden era now of British MMA. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not just talking about the UFC. Of course, we're going to talk about Brendan and the disappointment of what happened last week in the PFL. But if you even delve into Bellator, MVP headlining a London card coming up very, very shortly. We are blessed at the moment for a long period of time. When we started this journey, watching this nonsense, right? It were Bisping, it were Ross Pearson, it were Dan Hardy, it were, you know, a couple, Brad Pickett, those guys. And very rarely, I know that they would fight on the London cards when we ended up getting London cards, but very rarely would you get them all on a bill like this that we're getting at the weekend, man. Just fucking outstanding. Outstanding. If you've been following us for 5 years, and obviously we've tried our very best to document some of these guys and girls that are obviously competing at the weekend, to bring them all together and, oh yeah, of course we're gutted that it's not happening on our shows and we can go to it and be in the arena and be around this. But this is the value now that the UFC have got in British mixed martial arts. to put a card like this on, to value these guys and girls, to stick them on at the Apex in Las Vegas, just shows how far we've come. And listen, I know we've blown smoke up his ass on our BT show, but Bisping, we've got to take our hat off to him. He pioneered that. For him to do what he's done, to become the champ, and now to obviously carry that noise on for these guys and girls as an analyst and as a person on the desk in America. Listen, we are in a good space, man. I don't think your statement is outlandish at all. I think this could, even with the 6 on, it could be the best. Yeah. Because if you look at the matchups and you look at the narratives around some of these matchups, it could be the best. And as well as that, the value that the UFC have put into us as an audience by putting this on at a fan-friendly time. You're not staying up in the early hours of the morning anymore for this, are you? You're getting this at 7 o'clock prelims, 9 o'clock main event, bish, bash, bosh, you're in for a fucking screamer. It's up to you what you choose. Are you watching the boxing? Are you watching the UFC? What a choice you've got. What a choice.
Well, once again, it's a case of UFC on the telly and the zone with the boxing on the iPad, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
you literally can't record one or the other. It's a fucking night-in job. It's a, buy your beard a bottle of wine, send it around to a mate's, I'll put the kids to bed job in it. That's what it is. It's a get the fuck upstairs. It's 7 o'clock, it's bedtime. It's actually 9 o'clock, kids, even though it's only 7 o'clock. That's what it is. That's what this weekend is. It's amazing. And that's why, listen, I'm devastated not to be in Vegas. Because you know yourself, we tried by hook or by crook to get out there. It doesn't help the fact that we both have literally just come back from fucking Ibiza, which makes it far too convoluted and basically impossible. I've still got to wait till tomorrow, I think, before I have a day 2 COVID test or whatever. So leaving the country right now is impossible.
Yeah. Which
is devastating. But, it is what it is now. Just got to fucking get on with it. These are the shitty times we live in. And the good thing is that the amazing narrative about this weekend and the fights that are taking place, 3 or 4 of them, is what's next? Because till what's next is golden. For Aspinall, what's next is top 10. For Pimlet, what next is fucking superstardom if he comes through this weekend. And likewise, Molly McCann, what's next is a brand new UFC contract if she gets the win. And my boy from the valleys as well. Everyone's sleeping on Jack Shaw. Don't move away from the fact that no bantamweight in the world wants to fight our Welsh brethren. Jack Shaw is 100% fucking legit title contender material. So excited.
Right. Before we all start getting the cocks out and knocking one out all over the gaff, right? We've got a review because we're a bit of UFC at the weekend. But yes. I'm not going UFC first and foremost for the review. I'm going to the PFL, mate. Friday night.
Tears, get me the tissues.
Absolutely heartbroken for the kid, right? Because he featured. Listen, he was our guest presenter last week. He was absolutely brilliant. Loads of people commented on that. We've followed Brendan's journey for a long time. He has just had this roller coaster with mixed martial arts. He's been the Neely man for such a long period of time. He's been on the cusp of such crazy things. And I put on my social media last week, he is the epitome, just as a human being, just away from fighting, he is the epitome of never give up, this lad.
Yeah.
If you look at all the things that have been presented to him, he is the shining example of life being 10% of the circumstance, 90% of your attitude. How are you going to deal with it? Yeah, we've all had a shitty time with COVID and things have been stopped and prevented and what have you. But he just seems to continue to roll with the punches and not take no for an answer. Just him upping sticks, going to Thailand, then into Dubai, then into America when there was absolutely no fights on for him. He couldn't get out of his contract to go and fight elsewhere where other PFL fighters were being able to do that. And then for him to roll into this season, which was supposed to happen last year, and to put on the performances that he's put on so far against Sheamus Moraes and then against Tyler Diamond, I thought were absolutely sensational. And coming into this, I even said to him on last week's show, this is proper, man. Hybalayev, he's at fucking Habib's gym. You know what he's doing. I mean, look at the fella. Yeah. He's built like a brick shithouse. You know what he wants to do to you. This is as tough as a challenge as you're going to get. Probably an even tougher challenge than the final would have been against someone like a Bubba Jenkins. This is it. Mm-hmm. And for Brendan to meet it head on, face forward, you know, and to never stop during that 15 minutes, even though he was getting beaten. And let's be straight, he was getting beaten in that fight. I thought it was a bit weird that one of the judges did score it towards Brendan, even though I'm the biggest Brendan fan and would have scored him anything. I just think it was heartbreaking to see him not get to the top of the mountain, but it's just another part of his journey. It's not over yet. I know full well it's not over yet with his attitude. He's going to be there or thereabouts, and I just hope that he does get a bit of luck. He's earned a bit of luck. He's earned a break,
Yes.
and I hope someone comes along, i.e. UFC, and goes, do you know something? Got you wrong, mate. Got you wrong. You're the type of lad that we want in here. He didn't win the tournament. He didn't win the $1 million, but he won the hearts of every fucking mixed martial arts fan around the world, and that deserves to be rewarded, in my opinion.
Yeah, he hasn't let the circumstances. He hasn't made circumstances an excuse. He's always turned up and he's always performed, and he's always put the work in. That's the one thing you can't deny with Brendan Loughnane. The kid fucking works hard. The sacrifices he's made, and you can
He's
see
not seen
that.
his mum for a year. He's not seen his mum for a year.
You could see that in his post-fight posts where he was just like, mate, I'm coming back to Manchester. I can't wait to hug my loved ones, because that's what he's put on the line. He's sacrificed everything. And when he said it's not about the $1 million, he meant it. I genuinely don't think it was ever about the $1 million. It was just about proving to himself and to everyone that the sacrifices he's making are worthwhile. And that's what made it so heartbreaking, just watching the footage. And listen, man, those Dagestani bastards, they just got it, haven't they?
Mate, he's good. Moslin's good.
He's very good, very good.
Yeah.
And I'd be very surprised if he doesn't go on and win the whole tournament and get signed by the UFC. He's a very talented guy. But you know what he's going to do, and you just can't stop it. You know, it's almost Khabib-esque. It's a signature. These fuckers, they clocked the game. They've got a cheat code, haven't they? And until you uncipher that cheat code, you kind of fucked. And that's when you feel for Brendan. You're like, oh man, you know, just give us a different look. Anyway, it is what it is. And I just hope, as like you said, I hope Brendan comes back. I hope he receives the phone call that he deserves. But he's the type of kid that won't sit around in Manchester waiting for the phone to ring. He'll be fucking back in Thailand or back over on the west coast before you know it, making it happen. And I think that's probably how it's going to happen for Brendan. I think Brendan's the type of fighter that maybe it's a a 2-week call up to a UFC because someone's posted COVID or whatever.
That's 100% what it is. It's a case of, you know, that he's going to stay right. There's a call coming. He knows that something's going to happen, whether it's in UFC or Bellator, whatever. Something's going to happen where he's going to get something on 10 days' notice or a week's notice. Can you do this? Whether it's a last minute for next year's UFC London or whatever it may be. It's something like that, man. And it'll happen and it'll be fucking majestic, is what it'll be.
It will. It'll be awesome because we know he'll turn up. We'll know he'll perform because he's got to be in his bonnet, and you know, we all know that he should have been in the UFC. He won the Dana White's Contender Series, and he should have been signed. And Dana kind of unfairly used him as like a signpost to go, I see you try and persuade me with a late takedown, then you're not getting signed. And I thought that was bullshit, man. Because what was different from what Robert Whittaker did against Darren Till? Or what many fighters have done during their UFC tenure. It's not like he John Fitch someone and just lay on them for the whole fucking fight. Far from it. He was winning the fight and he kind of thought, you know what? I'll rubber stamp it with a nice little takedown here. And Dana went, fuck that. You're not persuading me like that. I think that's been so tough on him. And I think what he's done in the PFL on his journey and what he's done via his social media and showing everyone about hard work and perseverance, that's what the UFC want, isn't it? Don't we want entertaining guys? Don't we want people that are real signposts for this sport? And he rocks the microphone. Yeah, exactly. Fills that demographic. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got a phone call before Christmas, and hopefully he's because he deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah, he does, man. So heartbreak for him. Heartbreak for British fight fans as well, who had to get dodgy VPNs to pretend that they were in fucking Denmark or something like that to bloody watch it. Hopefully the PFL get the shit sorted. Because it's a wonderful tournament. It's brilliant.
Yeah. The format, don't we?
Mate, I've been absolutely locked in. Obviously, there's been more interest this year because of Brendan's involvement in it, but it's been a brilliant thing. I'm a big fan of Kayla Harrison. Big fan of a lot of people that are connected to this. Rory McDonald's in it this year. I mean, a lot of people don't even know this shit. But if we could make it a little bit easier to access, I think the PFL in the UK would grow massively. I really do. I mean, look what has happened to Bellator since they went into the BBC. It started to go and it started to pop a little bit. So fingers crossed the PFL can do something like that where British fight fans don't have to go through all these crazy...
Mate, if they're fucking listening, just give us the live stream and we'll smash it on Fight Disciples YouTube.
There you go. Easy work,
You're welcome.
Easy work. Now, I was at the boxing Saturday night, right? My pre-match meal was a Five Guys. Just giving you a plug there, Five Guys. If you're listening, if you want to sort the Fight Disciples out with a sponsorship deal, you're more than welcome, yeah? So I've gone in there, and a lad comes up to me, goes, who's winning tonight, Barboza or Chikadze? And I've gone, fucking hell, MMA fans in the house. So we're having a little bit of a chat, and I said, listen, I love them both. I know what type of fight this is going to be, but Barboza's just far too experienced to get beat in this fight. He's far too experienced. He's fought a higher level of guys. Yeah, he's fallen short when it's gone to the main event, and this is a main event, so maybe you consider something like that. But I can't see how he's going to be intimidated by Jika Kakadze. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ, mate. I thought, right, boxing's finished. I'll put on the old UFC. I'll have a little bit of a nosy of this. What is going on? Chikadze, I know he's good, but that was outstanding, man. We've got a new contender, mate, at featherweight. Jesus Christ, he was unreal.
He's a 100% contender, as I tweeted out. He's a fucking real problem for everybody in this featherweight division, because what's that now? 3 consecutive performance of the night knockouts, head kick, and he's just they're all head kick punches as well. He's an absolute monster. And listen, doing it against Jamie Simmons and my boy Cubby Swanson's impressive. Out kicking, out punching Edson Barbosa's something completely fucking different. He's the real deal. He's absolutely the real deal. And
so
listen,
fast.
I know.
Mate. He's so fast.
It's unbelievable. Mate, he's so fast against Edson Barbosa.
I know.
That's Edson Barbosa's bread and butter. And
that's
yet
the thing.
Chikadze's the guy.
And that's it. If you didn't watch this fight, you just listened to us chat about it, you might think, oh, Barbosa was off. No, listen, Barbosa was good.
Yeah.
Barbosa was good, man. He come out and he's doing bits, and they're going tit for tat early doors in this fight. And you think and even in the second round, you probably thought to yourself, Barbosa probably nicked that round there. He was good. Chikadze was just fucking unbelievable. That's what I'm saying. He didn't have an off night, Barbosa. He was at it, but Chikadze he went through the gears, man.
It felt like. Listen, beating Cubby in the first round looks great on your resume, but, you kind of go, is Cubby there? Is he not there?
Yeah.
Blah, blah. And I think sometimes you need to come through that bit of adversity in a fight, especially against a name like Barbosa. You want that bit of adversity. You want to lose a round, only post-fight, I mean, to get the level of respect that the performance deserves. Had he smoked Barbosa in the first round, you'd be like, did he catch him early? Barbosa wasn't really in the fight. The fact that Barbosa won the second round, I think, for me, rubber stamps the Chikadze performance even more. Come through that adversity, boom. You got Barbosa, boom. Check this motherfucker out. What a finish. What a finish. And listen, I think a few people come at me and we're like, bit premature though, the ref jumping in. I'm like, no.
Mate.
Look what led to that. Yeah, look what led to the finish. Barbosa was done, man. He was done. And when the referee stopped it, you always know if if the guy getting stopped isn't appealing and crying to the referee, it's a good stoppage. And it was a good stoppage.
Yeah. Good luck, featherweights. Mate, featherweight, 145 just across the world is a joke. We just seen this fucking kid, Hybalayev, against Brendan, haven't we, in the PFL East Summit? And then you've got this going on here. I wasn't talking Jika Kakadze at all in that featherweight amongst those featherweight contenders. I am now. I'm like going, shit, where's he coming in now? Who's he going to be matched up against? It's fantastic. 145 is absolutely fantastic. From Edson Barbosa's point of view, you kind of think that his fighting style is more geared towards the 3-minute fight, 3-round fight.
Yeah.
Because every time he stepped up to the 25-minute thing, it's like a psychological thing. I mean, he fought Kevin Lee there, he's fought Justin Gaethje there, and now he's fought Jika Kakadze, and he's fallen short in every single one of them. It's like he's kind of just trying to pace the 25 minutes, whereas once he sets off at an unbelievably fast pace, then people can't keep up with him. I think Chikadze took him by surprise in that first round. He then obviously went through the gears and he got there, but Chikadze just had fucking so much on him, mate. So much on him.
It still shocks me how Edson's even doing featherweight anyway. He was a fucking big lightweight.
Nothing on him.
I think that's part of the problem as well. I think he's kind of killing himself to make featherweight these days,
Maybe.
thinking the bigger the better. So I think he might well go and review that. But in terms of what's next for Chikadze, fucking, they can all get it. If you're they can all get it. I think someone like a Korean Zombie or something like that would be amazing for him. But don't be surprised if Arnold Allen gets the call as well, because Arnold's well situated there in that top 10. But
horrible.
He's a guy that doesn't fight often. He only fights once a year, doesn't he? And we need to see Arnold Allen a lot more busy than he is now. And I think Chikadze, with this momentum behind him, I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, I've put Arnold Allen in with anybody in the top 10 right now. But that right now, momentum's certainly with Chikadze. And for me, that's a phone call nobody wants to take.
One of the other narratives coming off the weekend is obviously that Kevin Lee was very poor, right? Yes, I can underline that. Yes, he was poor. And I'm a massive Kevin Lee fan, so I'm a little bit gutted that he was poor. But I'm going to give you some context, right? He's been out for best part of 500 days. He's had ACL surgery on both of his knees. He's had a rib injury. He's had a change of opponent on 2 weeks' notice. Of course, the opponent was obviously getting the fight on 2 weeks' notice as well, so maybe that's not too much to be considered. But he's now 1-4 in his last 5, and there's chat, and even listening to Dana in the post fight interviews, he was talking about, is he still going to be here? Is he not going to be here? Maybe his future's lying elsewhere. I hope they don't cut him. I really hope that they don't cut him. And the comparison that I'm going to use here is somebody else that fought at the weekend in Sam Alvey. He's lost 7 on the spin, man. 7 on the spin. There's only BJ Penn that has had more consecutive trips to the octagon without having his arm raised, right? And he lost this one. I think this is the first time ever in the UFC. He lost this one, even though his opponent had been docked 2 points for a foul. Yeah. Lost a split decision. It's mad. And if you listen to the way that Dana speaks about Sam Alvey compared to the way that he spoke about Kevin Lee, it was far more positive for Sam than it was for Kevin. And I'm thinking to myself, no, please don't. You know, I think Kevin Lee's got something. I think he's stuck between weights.
Yes.
Mate, you know what I mean?
He's not a welterweight. That's the problem. He's not a welterweight, and they obviously can't get down to lightweight. But I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC hit him with that ultimatum. You know, you either get down to lightweight or it ain't happening. The Sam Alvey thing, I just don't get. I just don't get that at all. Mm-hmm. We've both been around Sam Alvey during fight week. And listen, Sam Alvey's a lovely guy, and his wife, who's a former model, she's great too. But let's be honest here. Every time I've seen Sam Alvey at a fight week, in and around fight week, in Vegas, in Abu Dhabi, Fight Island, and it looks like, and I'm just being genuine here, it looks like him and his wife are on holiday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't see him hitting pads. You don't see him fucking putting himself in shape.
He was on the beach with us, catching some rays, enjoying himself.
It's just him and his wife sitting on the beach, like literally, like they're on the honeymoon, and he's like that when I've seen him in Vegas as well. Him and his wife out shopping, doing the touristy thing, and I'm like, if this is just fueling your vacations 3 times a year, what a sensational place to be in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, fly me anywhere in the world, Dana. Just me and the wife. Every now and again, he rocks up with his coach. I've never seen his coach around him until actual fight night because his wife corners him. His wife is part of the corner team.
Jeez.
It's mental. He's just on a vacation with his wife 3 times a year, and the UFC pick up the tab and pay him to do that. It's mental how this guy keeps getting fights. Nice guy, lovely guy. But again, what the fuck is going on? Very strange.
No idea, man. Darren Stewart was obviously on this at the weekend, and he was stopped in his fight. He can't catch a break, this guy. I was so desperate for Darren just to have his hand raised. And having chatted to him last week, again, that's out on our YouTube channel. It was just so good and refreshing to hear him speak the way that he was speaking. So you're thinking, all right, come on, Darren, I'm on board now. Let's go. And you know that he's always going to fight. He turns up and he wants to have it. But he got clipped, and that's it. And you know that's high level mixed martial arts, isn't it? If you're going to fight with reckless abandon, you run the risk of getting clipped. Now, I want my fighters to fight like that because I'm here for the entertainment of it. I'm here for the entertainment business, but that's not good for your career. Let's be straight, it's not, is it? You've got to be a little bit tighter. You've got to be a little bit more wary of what's coming back the other way. Darren Stewart is always going to be a fighter that I'm going to buy a ticket to go and watch. I don't know whether that is going to be in the UFC. Is where I'm at.
No, it won't be, no. He's only won one of his last 6 fights. I know one of them was a disqualification to Eric Anders, but there was a little bit of controversy around that fight as well. Listen, he took an illegal knee to the head, so the referee had to stop the fight. But I think that first round he'd already lost it. He'd already lost that round for me anyway, and I think one of those losses was right at the beginning of lockdown. If you remember, he actually fought on it. UFC released him to headline a Cage Warriors card.
Lost that, yeah.
And he lost that as well. So it's not good. And it's not good if you're being, getting knocked out in the manner that you used to knock people out. That was the dentist's hallmark. And I had a great conversation with him, and he said the reason why he wanted to move back up to light heavyweight is because that's what got him in the UFC, and that's where he feels happiest. And he doesn't like cutting weight. Maybe it's a bit of a Kevin Lee situation. He's just not big enough to compete with these light heavyweights, and maybe he's just too big to be a middleweight. In an ideal world in boxing, he'd be a super middleweight. Obviously, he'd float somewhere in the middle, but unfortunately, we don't have that many weight divisions in this sport, and UFC's tough, man. You're fighting against the best guys in the world. Your match with Jacoby, the guy's got 10 knockouts and 15 wins or whatever.
Massive, mate.
He's a fucking monster. Yeah, I know. What's Darren, about 5'10", 5'11"? Jacoby's like 6'4".
Yeah.
It's just it looked like,
and he fit, and he is 6'4", man. The back on him is fucking huge, mate.
He looks like a heavyweight cutting down to light heavyweight, where Darren Stewart is obviously a small light heavyweight, let's be kind, or an oversized middleweight.
The thing is,
that's the issue.
The thing is, all those losses that we're talking about and that run that he's on, there is context to every single one of those. Of course there is, but on the when you just look straight at it and you look at the scores on the door, you think to yourself, "Fucking hell, that's what's going on here." Like I said, the thing that goes in Darren Stewart's favour. His attitude's impeccable. He's always in shape. He's always ready to go. You fucking ring him, he'll fight. He's ready to go. Whatever you want him to fly to in the world, he'll turn up and he'll rock and roll, which is good from a UFC point of view. I mean, like I said, he's took this on short notice. And he's entertaining. Win or lose, man. It is entertaining. If you look at all the fights that we're talking about, none of them are dull. Yes, he's on the wrong end of them, but none of them are shit. They're all fucking good fights, mate. I'm in. Yeah. So I just thought, like I said, we're talking about this a bit here, aren't we? With Kevin Lee, Sam Alvey, Darren Stewart. I just thought that there's a little bit of context applied to where Darren's at right now, because he's always delivering, and I hope that he does stick around. I'll tell you another thing from this weekend. Where the fuck did that sub come from Gerald Meerschaert? Jesus. We've just seen Hamzat absolutely smoke him on Fight Island, and we're thinking, all right, here we go. Where's Gerald's career going? They've chucked him in with another killer, right? And then he fucking chokes the dude out. Now, I know that Gerald Meerschaert has got a sensational grappling game. He's brilliant on the mats. But the other dude, I'm thinking, well, they've basically done the exact same thing that they did with the Hamzat fight, right? They're feeding a recognised name to a guy coming through. Gerald were having none of it. He goes, right, you motherfucker, I'm going to snap your neck clean off. Here we go. Brilliant. What a feel-good win. I think that's the best way of phrasing that. It's a feel-good win, isn't it?
I think that Muradov had only lost one fight in like the last 10 years, whatever it was.
Mate,
he was on a fucking tremendous run. He's like 4-0, whatever, in the UFC, a shitload of performance of the night honours. And you're right, man. Gerald was getting fed to him to pad his record, but I think that's the one thing that Meerschaert has got, though. He might not have the best chin in the world, but fuck me, if he gets hands on you, mate, he's going to choke you out. Because that's his game. He's a BJJ black belt. So good on him. Good for him, man. You get fed to another killer, and you pull him into your world and you drown him. Good for you. Good for Gerald. Keeps himself going. Mm-hmm. Did he get a bonus? That I think he got. Did he get a bonus?
Yeah. I think he did.
Should have got a bonus.
I think he did, mate. Because it was such a. I never saw that coming type of victory. I thought he was going to get smoked.
Do you know what I did see coming now? Because he is pure violence. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, Mr. Violence himself, mate. That 17-second head kick over that was the thing I seen first thing Sunday morning when I woke up and looked at my phone. I was like, right, where's our viral moments? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Al Hassan's head kick was, tearing my stomach. It's beautiful.
It's good stuff, man. Right. Come on then, let's get into this weekend. We'll have a proper preview, shall we? We'll get stuck into the main event, Till versus Brunson. And people come at us all the time. Obviously, we're Till fanboys. We're on the Till train. But I've said this on BT Sport. I've said it on this. I've said it everywhere that I've gone. This middleweight division's a little bit messy right now because we know that it's going to be Adesanya Whittaker. That's where every single fight fan will be pointing their attention towards the next title fight. Whittaker has got himself back on the train. He has been absolutely top class, the number one contender. That does not change for me. Whittaker's the guy to be fighting Adesanya for the title. However, when you look around
in normal circumstances,
right, all right, calm yourself down, you Scouser. Right, as you look around the rest of the division, where's the other person? Where's the next guy? Where's the next guy sticking their hand up saying, "Hang on a minute, motherfuckers"? Right, I'm going to challenge the narrative of Whittaker being the guy. And we've had loads of people have that opportunity recently, haven't we? I mean, Jared Cannonier last week was good. He was great. Yeah. Fantastic against Kelvin Gastelum. But is it one that you come away with going, he's the guy. I want to see him fight for the title? No, you don't. Sadly, you don't. It wasn't the performance that really captivates that. I know that we've got Costa coming up against Vettori. You've got other guys that have been performing recently in this middleweight division, and you think to yourself, lads, do you understand where this division's at right now? Give me the viral moment. Give me the moment where the fans are going, I need to see him in with Israel Adesanya. I need to see it, mate. Now, we've got a situation here at the weekend where one guy's been in with Adesanya and got well and truly his backside handed to him. And then you've got the other guy who Adesanya wants to fight and he's just desperate for a victory. It's the manner of the victory this weekend. One, he has to win. We know what Brunson's doing. We know what he does, and it's very difficult to stop. I get that. If Till can stop that and have the fight that he wants to have, we could be in a situation, because you know he's going to deliver on the microphone, right? Come on, let's be straight. You know he's going to deliver in the microphone. When Bisping sticks that microphone in his face at the end of the fight, should he be victorious and should he have done it in a fucking sensational fashion, you know that the promo's going to be cut. It is there. The stage, Darren could not have a better stage. It's laid out for him. Go and do what you need to do. And then, genuinely, this time next week, we're talking about Darren Till fighting for the UFC world title again.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think that for all the reasons that you've just said in terms of Whittaker being the standout guy, Whittaker is the guy that should be fighting Adesanya next. But Whittaker, Till's last fight was that 3-2 round scored defeat to Robert Whittaker. It was a close fight, man. I still maintain Till won. But anyway, we'll move on. Okay, Whittaker since then has been a lot more busy. Whittaker's gone and beat Cannonier on Fight Island. Then he had a unanimous decision victory over Kelvin Gastelum as well, back in Vegas. So he's back in the fold. He's got those 3 wins against 3 top contenders since his loss to Izzy, when we could all see that was probably one of the worst performances of his career. So we're all banging that drum. We're on board. However, if that fight can't happen for whatever reason, and that main reason being Australia and New Zealand in all kinds of crazy lockdown situations, Whittaker having a growing family, there's no way he's going to want to leave Australasia and have the rigmarole of getting back in. Izzy's slightly different. Izzy, I've got a feeling, would travel for the right fight. And the right fight right now is Till. And it sounds harsh, but you can't sell Brunson the same way. If Brunson beats Till, and it could happen, if Brunson beats Till, Brunson's already been finished by Adesanya in round 1 and Whittaker in round 1. It's much harder to sell a fight with Adesanya with Brunson. More importantly, it's much harder to persuade Adesanya to leave New Zealand, to do a fight camp, leave New Zealand and fight wherever to take on Brunson, who he's already smoked. He's not interested. But there is a narrative with Till. We can sell Till to Adesanya if he wants to keep going. If Whittaker's like, listen, boys, you guys crack on. I'm staying with the family. I'm waiting for this COVID shit to blow over. I ain't fucking quarantined for 3 weeks to come back and see me babies. No way. Get on with it. Which I think could happen. Because Whittaker knows when he is happy, when he does want to fight, when he can compete.
Oh yeah, he's the guy.
He's going to get the next shot anyway, regardless of what happens with Till and Adesanya or whoever else it might be. I think that's the window of opportunity. I think that's what could well play out. But for that even to become a conversation, Till must beat Brunson on Saturday night. He must have his hand raised by hook or by crook. The more impressive he does it,
I think it's got to be
the bigger the conversation.
Yeah,
the bigger the conversation.
I think he's got to go in there. I think we've got to see something special from Till. I really do. He's got to do it in the octagon, cut the promo, and then it's a piss easy sell. I think if he ambles to, a decision over 5 rounds, people go, well, hang on a minute, you've got Cannon here, and you've got this. In 2 weeks' time, we've got Vettori and Costa. Let's wait for that. You don't want that. You want people to go, I don't give a fuck what's going on with Vittori and Costa. I don't care. The guy's here.
Yeah.
He's done it. He's done the business.
Yeah, I know. And the issue, the main issue here is that, you know, Till's only got, of his all his finishes on his record, 12 finishes and 18 wins, only 2 of them have come in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's got to step up. He's got to pull the trigger. And that was the main conversation I had with him this week. That's the main theme of the fucking conversation everybody's having with him. Are you going to pull the trigger? Can you pull the trigger? You've got to pull the trigger. And everyone's right, man. And I think Brunson, we all know what this fight is. If Brunson takes him down and can hold him down and tire him out on the ground and utilises his double A, you know, grappling credentials, then Brunson can force his way to a one-sided decision.
Mate, Till's takedown defence is good though, man.
But Till's ability to pop back up is excellent. You know, he's like Bisping. Bisping was, listen, good. If you take Bisping down, well, congratulations. Hold him down, fucking you deserve a Blue Peter badge. And Till's very similar, man. You might be able to get him down, but you certainly won't be able to hold him down. He's great at popping back to his feet. So Brunson's going to have to be on point to utilise his biggest strength. But likewise, Till's just got to be a bit greedier. He's got to be a little bit more fucking... I think still psychologically in there somewhere, there's the
Masvidal.
Knocking down as Masvidal, dropping Masvidal with that shot, and then suddenly going, boom, here I am. It's coming now, and swallowing a shot coming back. I think we've still got some demons in Till's head that have got to be exercised before we see him truly let his hands go again. Truly let his hands go again. But I tell you what, I've got a prediction for this fight. I've got a prediction. I think Till will win in the 3rd round with ground and pound elbows. He'll win the fight with ground and pound. He'll get Brunson on his back, and he'll unleash hell. And I think that's how Till's going to win this fight. I think he'll win the stand-up battle. I think Brunson might win a round. He might be able to negate his way through a round and maybe utilise his grappling and tie Till up at some point on the ground. But I think at some point Till's going to get on top of him on the ground, drop in, heavy elbows, referee drags him off. Mr. Adesanya, you've got yourself a contender, baby.
Mate, nothing would fucking put a smile on my face more, man. Come on, Till. Take us on the fucking ride. Tom Aspinall. Mate, this guy, we're lucky enough to be able to spend time in the guy's company, interview him, talk to him about stuff non-fight related, stuff fight related. Every single time I have a conversation with Tom Aspinall, whether it's on camera or off camera, I come away going, mate, that guy's a fucking genius. He's an absolute genius. Everything about him, like, you can speak to him about fighting and you learn something. It's like a lesson at times when you're having a conversation with him about fighting and him explaining his fight IQ. But then you have conversations about stuff non-fight related and you're thinking, you've got it all. You've got it. Whereas Till's more brash and out there and has got it, he's just more relaxed and chilled and calm, but still got it. And again, another guy to be really excited about. I know that obviously if you listen to us regularly, you know that we'll get high on certain fighters and sometimes it might come crashing down, all right? This guy, get on it. If you are not on the Tom Aspinall train yet, get on it right now. This fight at the weekend against Pavlovich, I've said it on the BT show. Don't look at the 13 versus 15 in this division as a come down for Tom Aspinall. This is a legit fight, man. This guy's not fought for 2 years.
Pavlovich is out. It's Spivak, isn't it? Sergei Spivak is the opponent now.
Have they changed the opponent on him?
Yeah, Pavlovich couldn't get into the US. Pavlovich had visa issues. So
this is even bigger.
Sergei Spivak, who's higher ranked than Pavlovich, he's actually ranked number 14. I think Aspinall's 13, Spivak is 14, and Pavlovich is 15. Pavlovich is out, so they've gone up the rankings and gone, okay, fight Spivak, who's basically ranked alongside you.
Mate, I've been watching too much fucking nonsense in Birmingham, keeping up to date. Spivak's an even tougher fight, mate. Pavlovich was tough. Spivak's even tougher. This is proper, man. And I know that, well, obviously it's a last-minute change of opponent. I just hope that, I don't even need to hope, because I know full well that Tom, speaking to him, and his demeanour and how calm he is and how chilled he is, he's just going to go and do him. I don't think he genuinely gives a fuck who he's fighting. I think he's just going to go and do him. And he figures it out as he's going along, which is a very unique place to be as a heavyweight.
Yeah, I think the late change of opponents won't bother him at all because he's quite a cerebral fighter. And, he's going from one Russian to another. And Spivak's strengths are probably similar to Pavlovich in that he does like to stand up, he does like to bang. He's probably got a couple more submissions than Pavlovich, probably got a little bit less power, so maybe a bit more rounded. But he does have good wins as well. He's got a win over Taito Avisa in the UFC. He's got a win over Olielnik last time out, or whatever you say that fucker's name, who's a very experienced guy. And if you remember, Spivak was one of my ones to watch about 3 years ago.
Well, they've tried to make this fight a couple of times, haven't they? I'm sure it was on for UFC London last year and it fell off, or on Fight Island or something.
Fight Island it was.
Right, yeah.
They tried to do it on Fight Island, and then Alan Badu ended up stepping in for Spivak. Spivak pulled out for whatever reason. So it has been a fight that's been offered, and it's a fight that Tom had previously spoken about and said, I want to face that guy. So the thing with Tom is... his journey, Till is just a fucking roller coaster. Till is on a roller coaster, the brakes are off, and by hook or by crook, win, lose or draw, he's on a collision course with, hopefully, that UFC gold. Again, he'll win, he'll lose, he'll draw, it's going to be fucking mad entertaining. God only knows what's going to happen at the end, but we're all signed in, we've got our seatbelts on, and the Till fucking roller coaster is just free training away. We're on. With Aspinall, it's very different. Even though they're from the same gym, even though they're at similar stages in their career and their maturity as fighters, it's a lot more scientific with Aspinall. It's a lot more like, I can beat them guys now, but I'm not in a rush to get there. I don't need to fight Derek Lewis tomorrow. I don't need to fight anyone in the top 10 tomorrow. Quite happy to fight Pavlovich, Spivak. It wouldn't surprise me if he went after the Spivak performance, hopefully this weekend, he gets a victory. It wouldn't surprise me if they remade the Pavlovich fight.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Because Tom needs experience. What he keeps saying is, I need experience. That's what I'm lack on. Ability-wise, I'm there. Size-wise, I'm there. He believes he's got a fight IQ better than most of these heavyweights, and I agree with him. But he's only 12 fights in, and he's only a baby in terms of the heavyweight division. He's 28 years of age.
Yeah, I think again, I don't want people to get confused with when Tom talks about experience, right? He's an experienced lad. He knows what he's doing when the door fucking shuts. That's not the thing. It's the experience of, for example, being main event. Yeah. He needs to be a main event. He needs to be in a 5-round fight. Now, I'm not even saying that it needs to go 5 rounds. It's just the psychology of those things. Before you step into, like what Nick's saying, the big boys, the top boys in the heavyweight division, you want to have had, right, I know what preparing for 25 minutes is like. I know what being the main attraction of a UFC fight week is like. I've experienced these things. Listen, he's getting first-hand experience because he's around Till all week, and you know what I mean? But it's a different thing watching it than actually experiencing it himself. And I think you're right. I think off the back of this, I'd love the UFC to really invest in him and say, right, we're going to do a fight night and you're going to be the main event against X, Y, and Z, and it's going to give you the opportunity to be the main man, to carry a card. All those types of things is what we're referring to when we're talking about experience with Tom Aspinall, because you're right in what you're saying. Ability, he's ready, man. He is ready to go and play at the very top of the tree right now, in my opinion. But it's just those extra little bits. And for him to have the maturity to understand that right now, I think is the thing. That's the X factor. That's the little extra bit that not a lot of people get. They run before they can walk, and he fully understands the full game. So he wants to, like I said, be a main event, experience what it's like to go and to be involved in a 25-minute fight. I mean, this is a guy in his professional life, mate. He's not been out the second round. Yeah. Not been out the second round. He smokes every fucker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And yes, he's lost a couple via submission in previous places, but...
Well, he got submitted once, and then his other loss was a disqualification. It was a John Jones job. It was the downward elbow he got disqualified for. So really, he's only got one loss on his record, but that was back in 2015.
None of them out the second round. So, you know...
The thing with Tom, and you're right, exactly then, just look at his progression. Let's look at his last 4 fights. Cage Warriors main event in Liverpool. First experience of a main event, first round finish. signs with the UFC. Till versus Whittaker. Big night out on Fight Island for his debut. He's on his second or third fight on the prelims. So really early on in the card. Alan Purdue, his second fight. Boom. He's the curtain jerker on the main card. Mm-hmm. And then the Andrei Arlovsky fight, that was middle of the main card last time out. Now he's the co-main event. There's progression there. Not only are the opponents getting better, but he's moving up that card as well. He's getting that experience. Like this weekend's a big one for him.
Mate, he's not fought in front of fans in the UFC yet.
No, he hasn't. He still won't again.
So, again, just being in that environment where you're in the changing room and you can hear the fucking thing pumping. The most amount of fans he's fought in front of is about 2,000 at Cage Warriors, mate. He needs to be in a stadium of 15,000 people where it's absolutely fucking humming and thinking, shit, I'm on in a minute. Right, let's get wrapped up, let's get cracking. Those things is what I'm talking about when it comes to the experience. Fighting,
yes,
that's cracked. He knows that. It's the shit that comes with it. The circus that comes with it is that he needs to just be aware of, that's all.
And that's why you won't see him next fight in against someone in the top 5 or the top 10, even if his ability suggests he's ready and he believes he's ready, because his next fight will be in front of a crowd, hopefully, fucking the way things are going, for the very first time. He will be back in the middle of the main card, or maybe he can't hold him back that much. Maybe we will get London at the start of next year, and maybe Tom will end up co-main event, but he won't be the main event. Tom Aspinall will not be the main event next time he fights, because it'll be the first time in front of a crowd, and he doesn't need that kind of pressure. He's trying to take it bit by bit. He even said to me in the interview, he said, even I don't know how I'm going to react fighting in front of 20,000. Even I don't know. I'd like to find out, but I don't know. I don't know whether my faculties will be there. I don't know how my brain's going to work. I don't know how psychologically.
Mate,
and it's all part of the journey.
He knows, and we know.
He just needs to tick that box. He just needs to tick that box.
He's saying all the right things is what he's doing. Fair play to him.
A bit of pressure on Colin Heron here as well, because you've got Tom in the co-main event and Till in the main event. They've got the same head coach, the same teams. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works, because obviously he's never had that before. And a testament to him as well. You know, I know I'm biased now because, again, I've known Colin over 20 years, but you show me another fucking... How many coaches in the world? You can probably count on one hand the amount of coaches in the world that have UFC fighters in co-main and main events. And you're probably talking about people like Mike Brown and, you know, people from the super gyms from the US. We've got thousands of fighters, not from a fella from the UK that's got a gym with about 12 pros in. It's phenomenal.
The debut of Paddy the Baddy.
Woo! Now, let's get excited, shall we?
I'm gutted that he doesn't have fans to vibe off. I'm gutted, man. Because that is... they deserved it, didn't he? He's been so mature in the way that he has approached his career, where he's been learning, he's accepted, I'm not ready for this yet. He could have done UFC Liverpool. No, not yet. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. As I said, I think I even referred to him on the boxing show this week, where he fell in love with his hands for a short period of time and went off on a different path. And you think, is Paddy going to come back? Is he going to come back and understand who he is? He's comfortable. He's comfortable in his own skin. He's comfortable in his own body. He's grown into his body. He's a man now, and he gets it. And this is going to be fun as fuck. Absolutely fun as fuck. Straight out the gate, flying triangle. Watch this.
Yeah, he will. Honestly, he will. And Vendramani, the Brazilian, is no mug either. There is no... Listen, man, it's the UFC. There is no mugs, of course. There isn't. You know, but Vendramani, he's no mug, but it's a winnable fight for Paddy. It's a winnable fight for him. He's in the curtain jerk. He's opening up the main card.
They put him on the main card. First fight. You know what's happening. There's only what... Vendramani's not the geezer that has
got the main card
has forced that place. There's only one dude. It's him with a fucking Ketwig. He's ready to go, isn't he?
He's been... It's just the journey he's been on. You know, the journey he's been on since he lost to Soren Bach, and I did some stuff with Cage Warriors around the Soren Bach thing, selling that fight, and had them both head to head. And Paddy he just wasn't on that night or in that whole build up. It was weird. You could see there was a lot going on behind his eyes in his personal life and everything else. And he's been on a mad little journey. But now he's here. Now he's got a couple more wins in Cage Warriors. Got back to where he needed to be. He's just ready. He's just ready now, you know, and he's big, he's strong, he's fucking super confident, he's incredibly entertaining, he will rock the microphone, he'll have all the UFC staff up the fucking wall this week because he's just that type of fella. He's a little bit of a box of frogs. So, yeah, man, it's going to be fun just to see him bounce out. He'll bounce out to that Scouse house like it's 20,000 arena, and the handful of Yanks that are sitting in Vegas who have got no idea who Paddy is are going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? I just hope UFC broadcast so we can show it on BT. I hope they show Paddy's ring walk, because he will be bouncing off the walls. And get ready, because he will throw up a flying triangle in the first round. I promise you that.
I'm concerned about Molly, got to be honest. And the reason for that is, since the last defeat, it just feels like a bit of an emotional roller coaster for her within fight sports in general. Obviously, we saw her put gloves in the centre of the octagon, which was all connected to the passing of her father and the tribute that she was paying there. And then outside the octagon, she's taken on the role of a serious role model. Obviously, she released her book and all these types of things, and she seems to be in a really good and happy place outside of the octagon. But every time I've spoken to Molly, there's always been a narrative of, I want to be the first to do this, I want to be the first to do that, I want to be the first to get a finish and all this type of stuff. And I think that has clouded what she's doing inside the octagon. Yeah. And I just hope that that's now gone, because I'm looking at, like, listen, we follow each other on Instagram and what have you, and have a little bit of a nosy in every now and again. Everything seems to be in place outside of the octagon. She seems to be in a really good place with the things that she's doing away from fighting. I just hope that she's taken the pressure off herself, man. She seems to have put so much pressure on herself to do X, Y, and Z. I just hope that she's gone, do you know something? Fuck it. Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy. I'm here. I'm at the top table. I was the queen of the Cage Warriors. I'm at the top table. I deserve to be here. You don't have to justify it. It doesn't have to be. It felt like she felt like she had to justify, I'm here and this is why I'm here. No, man, you're here because you're fucking good. Just go and fight.
Yeah,
and I
just
hope
enjoy
that
it.
I hope that is with her now, and we get to see, because it'll come naturally. The finish will come naturally rather than trying to force it, you know. And I hope that we get to see the best of Molly this weekend.
Yeah, I think there's an element of, you know, she, after the losses that she's had in the UFC, I think she went away and was a bit like, right, I've got a hole in my game. It's grappling, it's jiu-jitsu. I'm going to fill that hole. I'm going to be much more rounded. And she went away and she was doing jiu-jitsu competitions and everything else. People forget that, you know, after that Julian Robertson defeat on her debut, she was on a 3-fight streak. She went 3-0. But then she had a couple of losses, and it was like, right, oh shit, I need to get my jiu-jitsu sorted, I need to get my grappling sorted. And if you remember then, it was always like, I want a submission for me coach, I want the first submission of me, I want it for me coach, my first ever submission. And now she accepts the fact that was just wrong, man. She went on a 3-fight winning streak in the UFC without jiu-jitsu, without the wrestling at that level. And she went away and she lost 2. So the problem there is that you're focusing now on something else.
Yeah.
You've got to accept the fact that, especially in the women's sport, you know, she got into the UFC when she was still in single figures of fights. Mm-hmm. So in the women's sport, kind of like in boxing as well, there isn't that depth to be able to have 30 fights outside the UFC and then come in, like Paddy, for instance, and go, right, I'm ready now, let's go. Molly had to take the opportunity when it came. When it came in Liverpool, she jumped at it, she missed weight, she lost the fight. It was the most disastrous start. But then she went, right, get me another fight, and she went on a 3-fight winning streak. Yep. The same old little Molly. But even then, she forgot that losses are part of the game, more so in the women's sport than the men's sport, because you are growing as a mixed martial artist on the bigger stage. You are advancing your skills. And yes, it's great that she rounded them out by doing this and doing that, but don't take away from what got you here. What got you here is that you're a fucking rogue. What got you here is the fact that you dig your toes in, you swing for the fences, and you won't settle for anything but a victory. And hopefully she needs to be back there. That's where she is, and it's been a tough camp for her. You know, I don't want to say too much, but it's been a tough camp for her for various reasons. And I think now she's kind of looking forward to just getting in there and doing her thing, and just letting her hands go. And as I said to her, if you get in there and let your hands go, and you do Molly McCann, you do meatball, proper meatball, win, lose or draw, you're going to get another fight. Because you're entertaining. Win, lose or draw, you're not going anywhere. Just don't go in there and freeze. And she won't freeze. She won't.
No, man. No, listen.
She was texting me. She was texting me yesterday, and she was saying, because Paddy lives up by me, and even though we're in Liverpool, we're I'm Knowsley Council now, which means we've got a red bin. And as you know, this is a big thing in Liverpool. What colour's your bin?
It's purple.
It's got to be purple. If you're not a real, you're only a real Scouser if you've got a purple bin. That's kind of like the funny logic here. And obviously the bins are purple in Liverpool. Why? Because one team's red and one team's blue. You mix it together, you got a purple bin. Otherwise, people would paint in the bins. That's true. Evertonians wouldn't have a red bin, Liverpoolians wouldn't have a blue bin. So the council had to make purple bins for the city. Anyway, Molly was texting me saying, Paddy's got a maroon bin because he's Knowsley Council. She went, where does Till live? And I'm laughing, going, what are you talking about? She went, where's Till's house? I need to know if he's got a purple bin. I said, well, he's staying in Bootle at the moment, which is very much a purple bin. I said, but the house he owns is in Formby, which is posh now. I think that's Sefton Council, so that won't... Fucking hell, I'm the only one with a purple bin. I'm the only real Scouser on this card. I'm going to say that in my post-fight speech. I'm going to let everyone know there's only one real Scouser here. It's Molly McCann. I'm like, brilliant. The world won't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. But Molly apparently is going to tell everyone now she's the only real Scouser because she's the one with the purple bin. Mental.
Mate, I couldn't wish it more for someone. You know what I mean? I just hope she gets the job done this weekend, and she feels justified in where she is, mate. She's fun, a lot of fun. Jack Shaw, not non-Scouse, but I'd say you look at rounding mixed martial artists, and of course I'm going to wax lyrical about Tom Aspinall. He is. I've said to him, I think you're probably one of the most dangerous finishers in the heavyweight division because of the amount of different finishes you offer, whether it's with your hands, whether it's with the chokes and what have you. Here's another kid. Here's another one that can do the absolute lot. Jack Shaw is a joy to watch. Doesn't matter where this fight goes, he's in it, always.
Yeah, and what's the common theme between the two of them?
Go on.
Their dads have been their coaches since they were born.
Of course.
Jack's got his dad, Tom's got his dad, both their dads, career martial artists, black belts, fucking... They basically produced sons that were destined to be in the UFC. That is pure and simple what they've got. They've got that pedigree that most fighters can never have because it wasn't a case of going to the gym every day after school or working at weekends. They were fucking grappling with their dads at Christmas dinner on the carpet. I guarantee it. I guarantee both Jack and Tom were fucking rolling in the garden with their dads at weekends instead. When the gym was closed, the classes are finished. Hey, come here, get in the garden right now. I showed you how to do that heel hook. How many times? Don't you make it? Get in the garden now. I guarantee that shit went on in both the Shaw and Aspinall households. And what's it done? It's created two of the best prospects the UK has ever seen. And I truly believe that. I think the way these two guys are going, I would be very, very surprised if both Jack Shaw and Tom Aspinall don't at least compete for UFC gold in the future. That's how much confidence I've got in both of their abilities. Jack's got a real tough division, of course, fucking killer division. But nobody in this weight class, like bantamweight, have been able to live with him so far. You know, and look at the way he's won his fights going into the UFC, the level of competition he beat on the way to the UFC, guys with UFC experience. You know, this is not by chance. This was all done deliberately. You know, he was guided through on his Cage Warriors journey, beating the likes of Vaughan Lee and people like that to get to the UFC, so he was ready. And now he's in the UFC. He's looked a complete mixed martial artist. He's looked great. Hunter is your last time out. That was a real tough opponent. Very similar to Jack. Loads of momentum behind him. A hot prospect. And now look at this weekend. What opponent this? Shaolin On or whatever his name is. How many fucking opponents has Jack had for this weekend?
Yeah.
No one wants to fight Jack Shaw, man.
Mate. What a card, man. I mean, what a card. I mean, Bukowskis is on this as well.
Yeah.
He's in a fight there where he's been given a name to fight against, which could genuinely get him straight back on into maybe a ranking in the light heavyweight division. Yeah, he's coming off defeats. Last one was a little bit contentious. I thought he was unlucky. Yeah, he got starched against Jimmy Crute. Yeah, okay, they're all legit defeats and what have you. But to fight Khalil Roundtree, what an opportunity for the kid. What an opportunity for and you know full well that you know what Khalil's doing. Yeah. You know what Modestus is doing. It's a sleeper for fight of the night, mate. I'm telling you now, it's a sleeper for fight of the night. Someone's going over.
Yeah, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised as well if the flyweight fight that's on here as well. Alex Perez, who's coming off the loss against Figueiredo for the title, he's taking on Matt Schnell. And I don't know how many times I need to remind everyone about Matt Schnell's journey. And he was the star of MTV Caged, which was on fucking 10 years ago. When he was a young kid coming through, very similar to Dustin Poirier. He was in his own documentary. Matt Schnell was the star of this MTV Cage. I'll never forget it because I remember watching it thinking, I wonder if any of these guys will ever get into the UFC. And Matt Schnell looked like the standout guy then. And here he is in the UFC. And I'll tell you what, fighting Alex Perez, I know Matt Schnell's coming off a loss, but if he can beat Alex Perez has just fought Figueiredo. So it's a wonderful opportunity for Matt Schnell, so don't be surprised if those flyweights leave it all in there and try and steal the show from our British fight night. They won't, but they might fucking try, that's all I'm going to say.
Whilst you're away, I don't know if you noticed, mate, that Rose Namajunas and Zhang Weili 2 has been booked.
Easy money.
Shush. For New
Easy
York.
Work for Thug Rose, easy work.
Have you seen the New York card? Have you seen it?
It's unreal.
Mate.
Unreal. Mate, we just need Leon and Jorge Masvidal to be added to it, and we are fucking New York bound, brother.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a situation, let's just say, because obviously some fighters have an opinion on vaccination, some fighters have a different opinion on vaccination. New York, as a state athletic commission, have their jurisdiction on what is required in order to get in and compete in New York City.
Don't you need to be fully vaccinated to compete in New York? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we've got a situation because Michael Chandler is vocal with his stance on that. Obviously, it's a fantastic fight with him and Justin Gaethje. So there's a bit of a standoff at the moment regarding that fight. Hopefully that fight will go ahead. Hopefully it goes ahead in New York. But it feels like to me at the moment that fight might have to be moved. It'll have to come out of New York and go somewhere else. But
yeah, and listen, it's only because Chandler's so vocal on social media. I don't know how Gaethje feels about the fight either. Not the fight. I don't know how Gaethje feels about being forced to be jabbed or any of the guys on that card. So it's going to be interesting whether the UFC can figure that out. But yeah, it's a fight that will happen. I've got a feeling if Chandler's stance, and again there might be other fighters on there with a similar stance, but if his stance does stop it happening, then I think that fight itself will just move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because we need to see it. Chandler Gaethje is a fucking barn burner. We need to see it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The best thing about this week is that you don't have to stay up till the early hours of the morning to watch the UFC.
Yes!
7 o'clock prelims, 9 o'clock is when the main card gets underway. And 9 o'clock, 9:15 UK time, is when you're going to see a fella with a Beatles haircut fly to the octagon to the sounds of some crazy bouncy house. It is going to be something else. Make sure you're tuning in for the debut of Paddy Pimblett and hopefully some other fantastic performances from our British contingent. Molly McCann, Jack Shaw, Tom Aspinall, and of course the gorilla himself, Darren Till.
Around 11 p.m, 11:30, the UK will see its next UFC title contender confirmed when Till smokes Brunson. Remember what I said? TKO by heavy ground and pound in round 3. Boom.
Yeah. And you know what I always say? Times are hard and friends are few. Ta-da to fucking you. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure once again. Great to be back doing our thing. Subscribe to us on iTunes. You can do it on our website as well, fightdisciples.com. We're all over social media. If and when interviews do drop this week, I will put them on our social media feed so you can head to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. There's already an interview with Tom Aspinall up there. Hopefully some other Scousers will turn up and have a chat with us as well at some point this week, and we'll stick it up online for you. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, subscribe via iTunes.